Hi, so today I thought I would make a video about how you can install the latest version of Node.js on Debian. So there's two primary reasons why you might want to install that software on your system. The first reason is that you might want to do some web development, or you want to create something like a command line tool by using JavaScript. So basically you want to create software. And the second reason is you might want to use some piece of software that was written in JavaScript and is distributed via the JavaScript package manager npm, and npm comes as a part of Node.js. So yeah, those are the two reasons, and in this video I'm mostly going to talk about the second use case. So when there is some piece of software that you want to use, but it's distributed via npm, so you need to get npm installed on your system in order to get access to that tool that you want to use. So let's take a look. So first of all, just to mention this briefly, if you try to install Node.js via apt on Debian, you will get a very outdated version of it, a version 18.19.0 currently, and I have an up-to-date version. So as of the time of recording of this video, I recently updated my system. So this is the latest Node.js that is available via apt. And if we look on the website, if we go to the download section, we can see that the current version is 22.9.0, and the oldest the oldest LTS that they have here, long-term support version, is 18.20.4. So it's even older than what the Debian repositories have at this moment. So it makes sense to just install the latest version since it's available here and it's pretty easy to install. So yeah, that's what we're gonna take a look at here. So they basically provide you 4 options as to the method of installation. So the first one says package manager. I guess what they refer to as by saying package manager is they talk about NVM, which is a node version manager. Here is the GitHub page for NVM, and basically it allows you to install several versions of Node.js on your system if you need that. But I'm not going to use this method, but it's available here, so if you want to try it out, here it is. Yeah, let's take a look at the other options. The second option is pre-built installer, and unfortunately they don't seem to have the pre-built installer for Linux available, so it's just grayed out. I can't select it, so that option is out of the window. Let me see if LTS is no, the same thing. So they don't have a pre-built installer for Linux, but that's okay actually, because I prefer a different option. So let's cover just one more option that we're not going to use here, which is compiling from source code. Pretty much always there if you want to do it, but it kind of is pretty complicated in comparison with just downloading pre-built binaries, which are available right here. So there's no need to go through the trouble of compiling from source. Yeah, so that's what we're gonna do here. Basically, let's see. So we're gonna select the 22.9.0 version, and we're gonna download it. So you can just click this button and then save the file to your system. What I'm gonna do instead is I'm gonna right click this, and I'm gonna copy this link, and I'm just gonna use I'm gonna switch to this other directory that I have here for these kind of situations, which is home tmp node.js. I already have a previous archive for the version that I have installed in my system right now, which is 22.3, and I'm gonna be upgrading to 22.9. right now. So I'm gonna use wget to download the file, and I'll just paste the link that I just copied and press enter. So it's gonna download it. And now I'm gonna switch back to the previous directory because that directory is where I'm gonna be installing it. So this opt directory that I have here, it's in my home directory, and that's a directory that I use for these kinds of situations where a piece of software is provided in an archive and it consists of multiple files. So following Linux conventions, I basically have this opt directory there, and then for each piece of software I create a subdirectory. In this case it's called Node.js, and in there I extract those archives. So if we take a look at what I have here, you can see that I have the previous version that I installed, 22.3 here, extracted in a separate subdirectory. And the reason that I keep the subdirectory here is because I might want to keep multiple versions to just make sure that the new one that I install works well, and if there is a problem with it, I can immediately switch back to the previous one. And the way that I switch between versions is by using this symbolic link here, and I'm going to explain how that works in a second. So first, let's go ahead and extract that archive that we just downloaded. So it's a tar archive, so I'm going to use the tar command to extract it. First, let's take a look what the contents of that archive are. That's just kind of a good idea to do that, because sometimes they might just suddenly stop packaging it, like change the convention or something like that, and then maybe there is not a containing directory at the root of the archive, and it'll just extract a whole mess of files in your current directory, for example. So that's one of the reasons that I like just checking the archive before extracting it. So the way to check is you need to use the -t option in tar. T stands for test, so instead of like using list, in tar they use test to test the archive and see the contents of it. So I'm going to also pipe this to less so that I don't have a whole bunch of output in my terminal, and we can now see what we have inside that archive, and we can check what we're going to extract. Always a good idea to do that. So yeah, it looks the same as before. Again, the version subdirectory is already there, and everything else looks fine. So I'm gonna exit from here. And now to extract it, we just need to use the -x option. And yeah, like I forgot to mention this, but you need the F, because F takes the file name as the argument. So you also have to have the F option. It just takes the file name as its argument. So to extract it, you just use -x and then pass the file in the same way as we did with the when we used the -t option. So now I can just press enter and extract it. Okay, it's done. And now if I take a look in the folder, we now have this subdirectory for the new version. So let me now explain how all this symbolic link business works. So in this top pane, I have this directory open. So it's home alex opt node.js, and down here I have home alex opt bin. So in my opt directory, I also have a bin subdirectory where I link all of the binaries that these software packages provide, basically, so I added opt bin to my system's path. I'm not gonna explain how to add a directory to your path. There's a lot of tutorials about that online already, so just like look up add directory to path and you'll find it. But in case you don't know, but basically I already have opt bin on my path, and I link all of my binaries there. So for example, let's take a look at the binaries for Node. So Node comes, actually let's first just take a peek inside that folder that we just extracted. Makes sense to do that. So like here's the contents, and there's also this bin subdirectory, and it has 4 files there. So these are the binaries, the files that you can execute, and there are programs that you can run. So you can see that we have the Node JavaScript interpreter here, which is basically you can just type Node, and here you have a JavaScript console, and you can just type JavaScript and it will run. Very useful. And you can also like create scripts written in JavaScript and then use Node to interpret them, just like you would use a you know, like if you create a script in Bash, you put as the first line number sign exclamation mark, and then I like doing user bin env, so it just checks your path, and I would use like bash for a bash script, but you can use Node for your to write a script in JavaScript, and that will work. So that's a great tool to have as well. And we also have npm, which is what we're after to install software. So, and there's also some other things. It has these 4 binaries there. So in my bin directory, since I already installed the previous version there, I already have everything linked, and we can take a look at what my links look like. So you can see that it goes one directory down. One directory down is back to opt, basically. And then we go into Node.js, so here, into this directory that we're here in right now, in the top pane. And then it goes to Node.js again, and that is this symbolic link. So this symbolic link in turn points to one of these version folders. So right now it points to 22.3. And then it goes bin, which is this directory, and then the corresponding binary, corpac, node, npm, and npx. So I can run node-v right now, and we'll print the version number. So right now it's 22.3. That's because this symbolic link is pointing to this 22.3 folder that I already had installed before I started recording this video. But what I can do now is simply change this symbolic link to point to make it point to 22.9, and all of these links will still work because they use this symbolic link to get access to these binaries. So I hope this makes sense. That basically it's a chain of symbolic links, and this way I don't have to re-link all of the binaries again. So I guess if you're installing for the first time though, you would have to create them. If you want to use this method, then you would first have to create this Node.js symbolic link. So let me first kind of change this symbolic link, and then we'll take a look at how to create these by using this method. So I'll type unlink Node.js. That will remove the link, and then I can type ln-s for symbolic link. I also like to put v here, so that stands for verbose, so that I can see what link is being created. And then I need to type node 22.9 this time, so instead of 22.3 I'm going to use 22.9, and then just the name of the link, which is Node.js. Enter. So now we have a new link, and now it points to 22.9 as opposed to 22.3 like it was before. And now if I run node v, now it says 22.9. So we've successfully switched the version. So this is the method that I personally prefer. Now if you don't want to do it this way, like, that's fine. You don't have to I think it's beneficial because there is always a chance that something is wrong with the previous version, and this way you can always quickly switch. But you can also just create all of these links directly. For that, I would go one directory down, Node.js, and then go Node.js dash 22.9 or v22.9 without the JS, and then go to bin, and then just select star because the only 4 files that are here are the binaries that we need to link, and then use the dot for the targets because we're going to be creating those links in the current directory. So if I press enter right now, it's just going to say a file exists, but if it didn't exist, then it would just create these same links, but it would use this path without using this intermediate Node.js link. And like if you're creating if you're using my method and you did create the Node.js intermediate link, you would just type Node.js here and you would link it this way. We don't need to do that because everything's already connected. In my case, or all the links are in place and everything already works. So yeah, 22.9 we've successfully updated. So this is it when it comes to the installing Node.js. So this is my preferred method, very easy. Now I also wanted to say a few words about installing packages via npm, because there's kind of one pretty important thing to know about it. Basically, if you just let's say you wanted to install less is a CSS preprocessor. It allows you to basically adds more features to CSS, allows you to write CSS in a more kind of convenient way. But the point here is that let's say I want to install less, and here they give you a command to run, npm install g less. So first of all, this G that stands for global. So npm can install packages locally. That means in your project. So if you have a JavaScript project that you're working on, you can install packages into that project by using npm. So that's a different use case. But if you want to install a command line tool on your system to have it available to your entire system, then you use this -g flag, which stands for global, so that package is just available on your system as a whole, as opposed to just like limited to one particular project. So they give you this command, but if you just ran it, you would be asked for your root password, and I personally don't really like basically installing anything into system directories that is not managed by apt. So as far as I'm concerned, like apt is the only package manager that I want to be messing with the system directories. So I think the default location where like it would install the less if you ran it just kind of without making any modifications and entered your root password, I think it would be just like root usr bin probably. But yeah, I prefer not to do that, and I prefer to have a location dedicated to this in my home folder, where like I would let npm install things, and then I would link have a place where it installs its like links its binaries, and basically everything would be just in my home folder, but the system folder will not be system folders will not be touched by npm. So that's my preferred method, and I'm going to explain here how to do that. Also, one advantage is just like plain convenience. You don't need to enter root password every time you want to install a package or uninstall or like do anything with it. So yeah, I prefer to set a location in my home directory. So when it comes to how to do that, it's pretty simple. There's just like one command that you need to run, npm config set prefix, and then your prefix that you want to dedicate to this particular purpose. So I found this answer on Stack Overflow pretty helpful, and there's also this document on GitHub. Basically, I'll link to both of these things in the description so you can have a read if you want. But as just like a quick introduction, it's pretty much enough to run npm config set prefix and then your desired prefix. So they use home.local here as their prefix, and that's not my preferred method. I prefer not to install anything into .local myself, but instead I have a different folder for this purpose, which is named almost the same. It's just local but without the dot. So I can view actually my npm prefix by using npm config get instead of set, and that would print some information here, and we can even see our Node version recently updated in the prefix, which is home Alex local. So not .local but just local. So that's just my folder where I install things myself, and the .local is just for other programs that already use it to store their data, etc. But I don't install their things myself. So yeah, that's my preferred way, and basically what's gonna happen once you run, so the command was npm, so since I already have it set, I'm not gonna run the command, but if I were to be configuring this for the first time, would run npm config set, let me see, was prefix, yeah, npm config set prefix, and then home local. So that would be my command that would set the prefix. And basically what npm is going to do once you set the prefix like this, and once you run, for example, npm install -g less, it will create a couple of folders there. So you might need to kind of have them already there. I'm not sure, like this answer seems to say that, like, make sure that the bin directory exists and it's on your path. So maybe you need to maybe it will complain that the folder doesn't exist if you don't create it yourself. But basically two locations. The first one is, so your prefix, in my case home local, and then there's going to be a lib subdirectory. It just follows standard Linux directory conventions, so I'm good with this way of doing things. And then in that lib subdirectory there's going to be node modules where npm will install its packages. So if I were to continue typing, there's a less subdirectory there because I already have less installed. So into node modules, npm will be installing all of the software that you will be that you install globally, like this with the -g flag. So that's one directory that it'll create, and the other one is just prefix bin. And I can't quite recall if it automatically links everything that it installs into node modules to bin, or if you have to create those links manually. I'm like 90% sure that it just does it automatically. Yeah, I'm quite sure about that. It's just been a while since I last installed the package via npm. But yeah, so since they say here that, like, make sure it's available, that means that npm does something with it. So it makes sense that it does it automatically. So if we take a look in local bin less c, that's the binary for less, binary name for less, we can see that it's a symbolic link pointing to lib node modules less bin less c. So standard type of symbolic link management that you might do on Linux. So yeah, ls is one kind of command line tool that is good to have that's available via npm. Another one that I also use is live server. Allows you to preview web pages that you're working on in real time, and like automatically reloads it in your browser as you make changes. So that's pretty helpful as well. And there's also plenty of other tools, but these are just two that are kind of very common, and I'm just mentioning them here. So yeah, this is basically it. So we covered how to install and update Node.js on Debian, and then how to install packages globally, so that if there is a command line tool that you want to use that's available via npm, you can do it, and you can install packages globally to your preferred prefix, and then configure everything just the way you want. So yeah, this is basically it. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked this video, and I will see you in the next one.